Alright guys, my name is Little Chef and welcome back to another episode of the Patreon Sim Dynasty. Like I said previously, this will be the last season. We show each individual week, and then once we get done with the season, I'll do like a highlight reel of every week and stuff like that. But we were just cutting down on some videos, some video production on my end. Just a little heads up there, after this season you'll just see a season update. It won't be a once a week type situation. So jumping into our game last week, let's see how everybody did. Northern Illinois ends up losing to North Carolina, just unable to bounce back from that 17-0 start, man. Just dang gum. They held them in the second half, just unable to get the extra points to get the win as North Carolina takes it. Taking a look at the stats, 23 first downs, 391 yards of total offense, 28 rushes for 65 yards, 28 for 39 for 326 and 2 touchdowns. Threw the ball pretty good. I mean, 6-14 is not bad, because that's exactly what the defense allowed North Carolina. My goodness, both 6-14. 0-for-2 on fourth down, though. Hurt and killed a couple of series. Potentially kept some points off the board. And only going 1-for-2 in the red zone. Another touchdown would have got the win. A field goal at least would have made it a little bit closer. Just unable to capitalize on the turnovers and get the win this week. And then we end up knocking off a equally as good 7-1, 6-1 Miami University team. We knocked them now 7-2, 6-2 in conference. 42-24. We had a big first quarter, and then we ended it solid with 14 points at the end of the game to get the win, because they had tied it or got it real close within 4 points, and then we made sure it was over after that. Looking at the stats, 31 first downs, 488 yards of total offense, 34 rushes for 161, 3 touchdowns. So I actually ran the ball decent, man. That's kind of a surprise. 26 for 39 for 327, 3 touchdowns. Do the ball great. It's what we do. As well as our third down conversion, 7 for 10. 1 for 1 on fourth down, and then 5 for 6 in the red zone with 1 turnover. We played extremely well. Only had 2 punts, didn't have hardly any penalties, took care of the ball. Forced them to a lot of third downs. Granted, they converted it, but held them to only 11 first downs. Charlotte continues to impress, man. Maybe being able to make it to a bowl game. Hopefully able to complete his objective for his contract and stay at Charlotte. 21-17 over the Roadrunners. They had a fumble to bring it close right there in the third quarter. Taking a look at the stats, 25 first downs, 356 yards of total offense, 54 rushes for 275 and 2 touchdowns, 9 for 21 for 81 yards and a touchdown. Didn't run the ball great, or didn't throw the ball great, but ran the ball really well. 8 for 13 on third down, 1 for 1 on fourth down, and 3 for 5 in the red zone. So even missing out on 2 opportunities in the red zone, and with 4 turnovers, still came out on top. Charlotte looking to be a much improved team over last year. ECU gets their second win under their belt, and hopefully they can finish the season strong, win all the rest of their games, and stay with ECU. Don't want him to get fired. End up having to score 14 points in the fourth to get the win, 45-41. Man, Timble even had a kick 6, dude. Luckily, ECU had a couple of deep bombs, scored with 41 seconds left to get the win. Taking a look at the stats, 25 first downs, 459 yards of total offense, 41 rushes for 160 yards and a touchdown, 26 for 43 for 299, and 5 touchdowns. They both threw for 299 yards. That's crazy. 11 for 18 on third down, 4 for 6 in the red zone, or it might not even been close. It looks like they were able to capitalize on a couple of turnovers and get some points on the board, because their defense was allowed 6 out of 7 times in the red zone for points to be on the board. And Temple didn't punt the ball much. It looked like they just turned it over, and ECU took advantage of it. Rice ends up winning 52-24. Solid performance, man. They didn't score any in the fourth, but they didn't need to, dude. What was that? 31 in the first half, and then 21 to start the third quarter. My goodness, a couple of deep passes, 80-yard touchdown pass, and then just kind of piled it on after that. Looking at the stats, 21 first downs, 573 yards of total offense, 36 rushes for 153 and 2 touchdowns, 20 for 32 for 420 yards and 5 touchdowns. Threw the ball really well. I mean, that's a ton of yards every 2 passes, man. Golly, that's insanity. It's like 120. 7 for 13 on third down, and then 4 for 5 in the red zone. The big key right here is only allowing them to convert 1 out of 9 times on third down and forcing 3 turnovers, because they were 100% in the red zone, but they stopped them when they needed to and kept this game out of reach. Wyoming ends up losing the baseball game 10-7. I say that because it is low scoring. I have seen more than one baseball game close to that score, so there you go. Hit a field goal early in the game and never able to do anything other than that. Allowed a late touchdown in the first half, and then it was pretty defensive battle. Looking at the stats, 23 first downs, 346 yards of total offense, 43 rushes for 191 and a touchdown, 20 for 30 for 173 and no touchdowns, 5 for 14 on third down is a horrible percentage, man. If you had converted like half, like 2 more, it probably would have been a different ball game. Same thing with the 2 for 3 on fourth down and the 1 for 3 in red zone. My goodness. Only had the 1 turnover, unable to capitalize on their turnovers. Defense held strong for the most part, only allowing them to score twice in the red zone, but just not the typical Wyoming team we've seen this season. But looking at the matchups this week, I have the Kent State Golden Flashes, Wyoming and New Western Michigan, Northern Illinois and Ball State, UConn and number 23 ranked UCF, Charlotte and UTEP, ECU and UAB, and then Rice Mid-Tennessee State. Speaking of my game against Kent State, we're looking to win this game. They almost have as bad of a rush offense as we do. We are not last anymore, but we are leading the nation in the best offense and the best pass offense, and the number 5 rated team in the nation scoring points. We got people visiting this week. It's going to be a huge week for us. Hopefully we can secure a little bit more of my recruits and end the season on a high note. Looking for that conference championship, as eluded us. No, we've won the conference championship 2 out of the 3 years. I think it's our 3rd year. Have not made a bowl game victory yet. We're looking to continue the conference streak. We will see. Northern Illinois ends up beating Ball State to seal the deal, get a bowl game more than likely, 15 points in the 4th, help them get the win 28-21. That was a pretty good game. It's just they were unable to get stopped in the 4th. Take a look at the stats. 24 first downs, 405 yards of total offense, 30 for 99 running the ball. Not great. 22 for 43 for 306 and 3 touchdowns. That's pretty good. Every 100 yards got a touchdown out of it. 9 for 15 on third down. Pretty solid. 0 for 1 on fourth, 2. 1 for 1 on 2-point conversion, and 5 for 5 in the red zone. That's what was the deciding factor. Unable to get stopped. Always winning points and always getting them. And we end up knocking off Kent State. Not a real surprise there. It would have been more of a surprise if we got beat. I mean, their only touchdown was a pick 6 late at the end of the first quarter, and then it was over after that. I mean, they actually had a lead 10-7, and then we scored, what was that, 24 unanswered points? Yeah, look at me doing math in my head. Booyah. Taking a look at the stats, 18 first downs, 438 yards of total offense, 27 for 56 on the ground. Not a surprise for us. But 28 for 38 for 382 and 4 touchdowns. There we go. 5 for 12 on third down. Not great, but it did the job. 1 for 2 on fourth down. Not great. But we were only in the red zone one time. One time, scored 31 points. I'll take it. 2 turnovers. It's all right because we still got the win. We held them to 1 for 3 in the red zone with a field goal and forced 3 turnovers. We're playing really good this year. I'm very happy with my team. ECU ends up losing to a surprising UAB team who is 7-4, is unable to recuperate after that 14-point second quarter. I mean, down 21-6 at the half, never able to recover after that. Just too much all at once and not enough firepower. Looking at the stats, 21 first downs, 337 yards of total offense, 23 for 109 and no touchdowns, 26 for 40 for 228 and a touchdown, 8 for 15 on third down, 1 for 1 on fourth down. I mean, that's good stats. 4 for 5 in the red zone with 3 of them being field goals. I mean, you turn those into touchdowns and you got yourself a freaking game, son. Only had 2 turnovers, just unable to do anything, man. Only playing the ball once. Like, he had a great game, just defense refuses to help out this year. And then Rice ends up getting trounced by Mid-Tennessee State, who is 8-2, 6-0 in conference. I don't know if they're even going to be able to play for the conference championship this year. I mean, that's a huge game right there. Unless it's opposite sides and the potential rematch later on. Just looks like, I mean, it was good, 20-21 at the half, and then just allowed 20 points in the 4th, man. Touchdown after touchdown, and then after a touchdown. Looking at the stats, only 17 first downs, 458 yards of total offense, 30 for 217 and 2 touchdowns. That's a really good running game for him, especially since it's been more pass heavy. 17 for 26 for 241 and a touchdown. 3 for 8 on third down, not good. And then 3 for 4 in the red zone with 2 field goals, definitely not good. 2 turnovers. I think he had said this was his first interception of the season. Just unopportune, like the worst possible time to get the turnovers, man. Just not able to get the win. And Charlotte ends up losing by 1 stinking point, man. 31-30 over UTEP. Still sitting 5-5 though, looking pretty good there. Just looks like maybe if they'd gone for 2. Oh, you know, actually UTEP scored with 1:45 left to get the win. Wow. Talk about upset. Taking a look at the stats, 17 first downs, 365 yards of total offense, 37 for 248 and 2 touchdowns, 11 for 19 for 117 and 1 touchdown. The 1 for 8 right there. 1 for 8 and 0 for 2 and 3 for 6 in the red zone. Unable to score, unable to keep guys rolling, unable to hold on to the football. Ruined him this game. I mean, if he had converted another 3 of those third downs, the time of possession was already in his favor. That could have been a huge different ball game, 100%. because they turned the ball over 4 times, man. Golly. Wyoming gets back on the right side of the column, 38-10 over Western Michigan, pretty handily even after a scoreless first. It came out 14-3 at the half, and then it was just all Wyoming after that until 29 seconds left in the game. Garbage time, man. Whatever. Taking a look at the stats, 22 first downs, just 386 yards of total offense, 46 for 186 and 4 touchdowns. Ran the ball pretty decent touchdown-wise. I mean, total attempts to total yards, not so much, but hey, whatever. 15 for 22 for 200 yards and touchdown. 6 for 13 for 46%. That's better than the defense, or better than the other offense, so you gotta do what you gotta do there. But 100% in the red zone with 5 touchdowns. And they only got to the red zone once, it didn't score. Yeah, Wyoming definitely came out to play today. UConn knocks off UCF 21-20. UCF almost came back and got the win had they not had to settle for a field goal. But UConn with a big pick 6 in the third, they didn't score a touchdown other than that in the second half. Taking a look at the stats, 16 first downs, 394 yards of total offense, 37 for 127. No rushing touchdowns, 19 for 28 for 267 and 2 touchdowns. Pretty good there. 7 for 13 on third down. Solid, dude. But the 1 for 3 in the red zone. That game could have been way over. Not even been close had you been able to convert those other 2 times in the red zone. But the 4 turnovers, ouch. But taking a look at our matchups this week, I'm ranked now. Woo! I think that's the first time since we've been doing this to actually be ranked. It's about time. I got the Buffalo Bulls this week, Wyoming and San Diego State, Northern Illinois and Central Michigan, UConn and USF, Charlotte and Marshall, ECU and number 16 ranked Tulsa, then Rice and FIU. Speaking of my game against Buffalo, they have a lot of people visiting this week, but it shouldn't really matter. Kirk's picking us to win. We're winning in almost every category except for rush offense. There's a little glitch with the turnover difference. They have -1, number 77. We have 9, and we are number 8. So get your mind right, game. Get fixed. They're not much of a better run team than we are, but they like to throw the ball. But that, luckily for us, that's our forte. We definitely do that really good. Hopefully we can come out and get a win this week and end the regular season on a high note. Let's get done with the advance, and UConn wins again, sitting 8-3, real good, hoping to get to the conference championship, winning 37-7. It was never really a game. And UCF tried to score in the first quarter, and then it was a lot of points after that. It was tied 7-7, and 30 points later. I mean, even with a pick 6, UConn just went off. Looking at the stats, 16 first downs, 322 yards of total offense, 39 for 184 and 2 touchdowns, 8 for 21 for 138 and a touchdown, 6 for 13 on third down, not too bad, but 4 for 5 in the red zone. We would have loved to get touchdowns. This game could have been way over, but points are points regardless of how you look at it. Plus the defense forced 2 turnovers. Solid game by UConn. We continue to be undefeated in conference. We got our game this week to seal the deal. I mean, conference championship's already a lock. We're going there. We just need to end the regular season on a high note in conference undefeated, and then win the conference championship. Will be great, man. 27-10, pretty good performance. They didn't score until almost the end of the third quarter, and then the fourth quarter, and it was already over at that point. Looking at the stats, 29 first downs, 431 yards total offense, 28 rushes for 107 yards and a touchdown, 34 for 53 for 324 yards and 2 touchdowns, 5 for 13 on third down. Horrible. That's not as bad as they were at 3 for 12, but still bad. 100% on fourth down though, and then 4 for 6 in the red zone. Also horrible, especially since we settled for 2 field goals. I mean, we missed out on a lot of opportunities to score. Another interception. I probably have at least 1 per game, but we're putting up a lot of touchdowns. So we're doing okay there. Solid performance by my offense and my defense gets us another win. ECU drops another one. I'm really worried about them. They put up a great fight, dude. It was a 7-point game against a ranked opponent, the top of the conference, but just not quite enough to pull it out. It was too little too late in the fourth. Try to score with 1:48 left. Not able to do anything other than that. Defense just failed them yet again. That's been the highlight of ECU, as defense has been failing them all season long. Taking a look at the stats, 18 first downs, 476 yards of total offense, 21 for 107 and a touchdown, 23 for 37 for 369 and 4 touchdowns. Threw the ball extremely well, converted on third down, 7 for 12, 100% in the red zone. It's just the defense. I mean, defense held them 3 for 8, not bad, but allowed 5 for 5 in the red zone with 5 touchdowns. You take one of those away, like 2 field goals, you're good, but no help by the defense, unable to force turnovers. It's just not a good season for ECU. Really worried if he's going to keep his job or not. Wyoming wins again, 27-10, scoring 13 in the fourth to put it away. I mean, 3 field goals, a touchdown, and then 2 field goals. All they could do is kick a field goal at the very end of the game. San Diego State goes down. Taking a look at the stats, 19 first downs, 359 yards total offense, 37 for 108 and a touchdown, 17 for 35 for 251 and 2 touchdowns. Not a great stat, a little under 50%. But I mean, he got touchdowns out of it in yards. 7 for 14, 7 for 17 on third down. Decent, a lot better than San Diego State going 3 for 13, 1 for 2 on fourth down, and then 4 for 5 in the red zone. That's been the situation for a lot of teams this week. Unable to get touchdowns in the red zone, settling for a lot of field goals, but it gets the job done, especially when the defense helps out, forcing 3 interceptions. Charlotte drops to Marshall 23-14. Started off the game strong. Bam, dude, 14 points right off the bat first quarter. And then Marshall retaliated with 23 straight. Taking a look at the stats, 19 first downs, 357 yards in total offense, 39 for 153 yards and no touchdowns, 17 for 24 for 204 yards. Charlotte going 18 first downs, 265 yards of total offense, 41 for 145 and no touchdowns, 13 for 22 for 122 touchdowns. Just not a great game offensively. 6 for 14 on third down, below average, and then 2 for 4 on fourth down. You need to convert all those if you want to get the win, especially going 2 for 4 in the red zone. Just not good. Plus 4 turnovers. Charlotte just had a bad game this week. Northern Illinois continues to look good on the other side of the conference, man. 30-14. Scoring 20 in the first and 10 in the fourth to get the win. I mean, bam, just right off the bat, 20-0 before it took them to Central Michigan to the third quarter to score, and then just tacked on a couple more points for the heck of it. Looking at the stats, 23 first downs, 468 yards of total offense, 27 for 114 and a touchdown, 22 for 41 for 354 and 3 touchdowns, 5 for 12 on third down, and then 1 for 1 on fourth down. I mean, you would like that average a little bit better, but once again, defense forced the opposing team for 4 for 14, so did all right. 4 for 5 in the red zone, 3 touchdowns, solid, and even with the 1 turnover, it kind of canceled each other out as Northern Illinois gets another win. And then Rice has hit a struggle bus this year, man. I don't know if it's injuries or what, but he's lost more games this year than I think he has the previous seasons combined. Just not having a great year towards the back half in conference whenever it matters. He needed to win this game. I don't even know if he'll make the conference championship this year. We'll check that out here in a minute. But 40-47, gave up too many points in the second half. Was at 30 points and never able to capitalize on it, dude. Just too little too late with a minute and a half, about 2 minutes left in the game to make it respectable. Looking at the stats, 28 first downs, 530 yards of offense. I mean, they moved the ball well, 40 for 244 and 3 touchdowns, ran the ball great, threw the ball pretty good, only 9 incomplete passes, 18 for 27 for 268, 286 and 2 touchdowns, 8 for 12 on third down, solid third down percentage, just 100% in the red zone. I mean, he had a great game. You just turn those two field goals into touchdowns, and he wins. Plain and simple, 7-7. Just look at the defense allowing 7 for 12 on third down, 1 for 1 on fourth down, and 2 for 2 on 2-point conversions. Defense didn't help out, and both had a turnover. Kind of canceled each other out. Both had 2 punts. Maybe penalties is what killed Rice. It's just hard to tell. They did enough to get the win, just unable to get it. So taking a look at the conference standings, we have the East pretty much locked up. We have Akron this week. I think even if we do lose that one, we have the head-to-head over Miami University. For the East side, for the West side, Ball State and Northern Illinois. I mean, they're still undefeated. I think they might play this week. I'm not sure. Maybe. It's going to be iffy. Northern Illinois got a shot. It might be a long shot, but still has a shot. Mountain West, Wyoming needs a lot of things to happen. Mountain West doing surprisingly well. 2 teams 9-2, in conference 5-2, 5-2, 6-1, and the divisions, it all comes down to 1 loss each. So it's gonna be an interesting finish to the season for the mountain side of the Mountain West. Then on the West side, San Jose State's got it pretty much locked up coming into like the last game of the regular season. So it's gonna be whoever they're playing. In the American, UCF is on top. Connecticut has a shot. They need a miracle to happen. I think UCF and USF played this week. So if somehow USF wins, UConn needs to win and potentially jumps up to the top. But I mean, this is a rough conference. You got 2 teams over 500 and then like 4 teams under. ECU is a good team, but defense not helping them out this season. And on the west side, it's up for grabs. Houston, Tulsa, SMU all battling for that top spot with 2 ranked opponents on the west side. Conference USA, Mid-Tennessee State and FIU, Old Dominion, like pretty much everybody still in contention for the conference championship. Charlotte sadly is not, but maybe looking for a bowl game if he can work some magic. It's going to be iffy though. On the west side, UTEP leading at Rice, like I said, might not be able to make it. The dude's made it a couple of years in a row. Could come down to this last game. And then taking a peek at that Heisman watch, Tulsa and Houston both have somebody up for the awards, and then Auburn, UCLA, and Florida State. Taking a look at the championship contenders 1 through 10, UCLA, Texas, Auburn, LSU, Virginia Tech, Miami, Florida State, Florida, Michigan State, and Stanford. And then we are the first user coming in at 22, Wyoming at 30, UConn at 31, Rice coming in at 42, Northern Illinois at 53, Charlotte at 102, and ECU coming in at 112. Taking a peek at the injury report, Army just finally starting to get some people back, especially defense is going to be huge for him. Left tackle out probably the rest of the season, so that's going to hurt there, but defense is a huge thing to get back, especially 78, 77, and 85. We have a left tackle that's out. Our right guard has been done for most of the season, than a right end with a partially torn MCL. I don't know if we'll get him back, maybe for the bowl game. I don't think the conference championship, if we make it, it'll be super iffy, but we could definitely use both those guys. Charlotte with a halfback, he should get him back pretty quick. I mean, maybe that's the missing factor why he's dropped a couple of games. We'll find out. And then UConn quarterback out, freshman 82, great quarterback. His broken tailbone, maybe back for a bowl game, iffy. Right tackle, same situation. Then the corner done for the season. ECU corner, 3 weeks still. That's a huge help on defense. That's out. Same thing for right outside linebacker, an 80 overall, questionable. Maybe he'll get him back this week and get back in that win column. Rice with the right guard that's still out. Same thing with the defensive tackle. Not going to make it back for a bowl game. Then the halfback out for the season. Wyoming, he has their hardest time with freaking running backs, dude. Last year he had 2 running backs out for the season. Another one out for the season. It might have been one, same thing as last year. Right tackle is probable. Left guard, left end. I mean, look at that. 91, 89, 79, 86. Solid players that he's not getting right now. Now, taking a look at the job security, ECU is a 50-50 shot. I think he needs to win this week to hopefully save something of the season and look good, but it's not looking great for him. Everybody else 100%. Something that was interesting, though, the head coach of Northern Illinois says he's earning Coach XP. Now, if you've played NCAA for any extended period of time, especially online dynasties, if you join after the first season, you don't. It's like a glitch in the game, you're busted. Well, he definitely joined after the first season, but he's earning it. So I need to go back, see the situation on when he joined, how he joined. It might be because we have the max level set at 20, so he's able to earn XP. I don't know. I just want to be able to replicate this later on down the road in case that is an issue. But he says he's earning XP. That's promising. We just need to figure out how to replicate it. This week I have Akron, Wyoming, and Air Force. That's going to be for the conference right there. Northern Illinois and Eastern Michigan, UConn and Temple, Charlotte, Western Kentucky, ECU and Cincinnati, Rice and UMass. Looking at our game against Akron, we should win this game. I mean, they're not very good. 1-10, 1-7 in conference. Shouldn't be much of a contest. We're looking for a solid conference season, 9-0, potentially 10-0 after the conference championship. But we are best offense in the nation. I still say definitely pass offense. That's for dang sure. Number 2 offense. I was close. But we got a lot of people visiting this week. We're going to check out those recruits right now. Taking a look at the recruits, we're pushing hard on some of these other guys. We don't really need anybody else. We are set very well. Athlete, wide receiver, they were fighting Army for. I mean, I might even let them have him. We don't need him. A kicker, just for the heck of it. Quarterback, for the heck of it. Like a lot of these dudes, same thing with the athlete. Might just let Wyoming keep him because we don't need him. And I'd rather go after this linebacker and some of these other dudes that can move to other positions. But we are sitting really good. We got 2 solid 80 overall wide receivers, 78 tight end, 2 quarterbacks. I mean, just to load up. Offensive linemen, look at all the offensive threats we have right here. Our first defensive player is 75 overall, and we only have 2. Everybody else are 3 defensive players. Everybody else offense. We got 3 quarterbacks, 4 receivers. We're sitting pretty, dude. But all in all, I'd say it's been a great season, at least for us. We're doing really well. We're doing great things in Bowling Green. Looking to finish the season on a high note, conference championship and bowl game win, and finish the season ranked for the first time since we've started this series. But as of right now, that's going to be it. We are done with this episode. If you guys are new, be sure to subscribe. If you liked the video, be sure to leave a like. And I will see you guys next time.